The Red Sox are adding to their collection of top prospects in Major League Baseball. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and thank you very much for clicking on this video. About a week ago, Baseball America released their newest top 100 prospect rankings list, and there were some usual suspects on this thing, of course, and we're going to talk about them briefly in this one. But the highlight of this video is that in this list, the Red Sox top 100 prospect pool continued to grow, and they actually added two players to this top 100 list that I think Red Sox fans should be incredibly excited about. So we're going to talk about both of these guys and what they could be in today's video. But I did want to start by just happening to mention that Roman Anthony, after this list came out, is now officially the consensus #1 prospect in the sport. Now, he came into the season as the #2 prospect in Major League Baseball, according to basically every single prospect ranking list, top 100 on MLB Pipeline, Baseball America, ESPN, all that good stuff. He was always slightly behind Roki Sasaki. Well, on some of the lists, Roki has graduated. On others, Roman Anthony is just flat out taken over that position. That's how good he's been this season, folks. He's currently slashing .304 with a .424 on base percentage and a .486 slug down in AAA for a .147 WRC+. Just crushing it day after day, waiting for his opportunity to come up. And yes, I'm going to take every opportunity imaginable to continue to talk about what Roman Anthony is doing in AAA. But I also wanted to take a second and say that on top of Roman Anthony taking over the top spot officially on every single prospect list, the other sort of bigger news here outside of these two new guys is that Marcelo Meyer has regained sort of his top 10 prospect status, right? Coming out of last season with the injuries that he had and the influx of players from last year's draft, Marcelo Meyer dropped out of the top 10 prospect rankings, but now he's back in the top 10 officially on almost every single list, with Baseball America ranking him now as the #9 prospect in baseball. Again, just because I love talking about these guys, he's currently slashing .274 with a .341 on base percentage and a .486 slug for a .117 WRC+. One thing I think a lot of people are starting to mention is also the fact that he has 39 RBIs in 37 games. This dude loves hitting with runners in scoring position. Interesting proposition given the current Red Sox team, but that's besides the point, right? I just like talking about those guys. Let's talk about the two players that were added to this list. Because outside of those two, you do still have Christian Campbell on this Baseball America list. I think he's pretty close to graduating. He graduated from MLB Pipeline's top 100 prospect list in their latest ranking. So I would assume that pretty quickly we're going to see those names disappear. Then you've got Franklin Arias, who we actually talked about recently when he was promoted up to High A Baseball about 2 weeks ago at this point. He continues to crush it. He actually jumped up to the 67th best prospect in baseball according to Baseball America. He's currently slashing .309 with a .377 on base percentage and a .491 slug for a .143 WRC+. I would not be surprised by the end of the year to see him really getting up there rankings-wise. He also has 2 home runs in those 13 games in High A. That power starts to develop for Franklin Arias. The Red Sox could have an absolute monster on their hands, and it appears as though I got distracted again. So let's talk about the actual two guys, Corbin, the focus of this video is, and that is that the Red Sox now officially have 2 left-handed starters on Baseball America's top 100 list. That is #94 prospect Payton Tolle and #96 prospect Brandon Clarke. Payton Tolle currently has legitimately eye-popping numbers in High A right now. In his first 5 games down there, he has a .366 ERA, a .272 FIP, so he's pitching about a run better than his ERA may lead you to believe right now. He's striking out an absurd 41% of the batters he has faced up to this point of the season. That is 4 out of every 10 batters he is facing that are walking back to the bench, only walking about 7.2% of them as well. So that strikeouts to walk ratio is really, really incredible, right? You're talking about what? 5 strikeouts for every 1 walk that he has given up this season. That's ridiculous numbers, right? But it could get even more ridiculous because if you take out Payton Tolle's really, really bad first start in professional baseball, which was just 1 2/3 innings where he allowed 6 earned runs, the numbers get even more exciting because in his next 18 innings, following that really brutal start. He's allowed just 2 earned runs, only allowed 3 walks, and has struck out an absurd 31 batters. In those 18 innings, he faced 69 batters. He struck out 31 of them. That is a 45% strikeout rate. That is almost half of his opponents. He had a game 2 weeks ago where he went 5 innings, faced 18 guys, and struck out 12 of them. That is only 6 players who did not strike out against Payton Tolle in that game. That is, just ridiculous swing and miss stuff, right? What he could develop into is still a little bit of a mystery, though. He has an absolutely commanding presence on the mound. He's 6'6", 250, and with a ton of extension, he's an incredibly intriguing left-handed prospect for Boston. The big question for him really is sort of the big question for any younger pitching prospect in a lot of systems, and it's whether or not he could develop his off-speed stuff enough to become a legitimate mid-rotation arm or even a top rotation arm with the way he's pitching right now, or if he's more destined to be a dominant back end of the bullpen type left-handed reliever, because the stuff is absolutely fantastic. He's got a 96, 95-ish mile-an-hour fastball, which doesn't sound like incredibly fast, but again, factor in the fact that he has an incredible extension on the mound and the fact that this thing has some movement. It looks a whole lot faster than 96 miles an hour coming out of the hand. It is his bread and butter. It is the reason he is getting so much swing and miss at the plate right now. Outside of that, though, he has a sweeper, a slider, and a changeup, and all of them at the moment could use some work. All of them do get swing and miss in high A, of course, right? But at the same point, too, there is some concern that as he gets through minor league baseball, as he starts building up a resume here, that as he gets to higher levels, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to sort of sneak those pitches by guys. That's going to be the big key in Payton Tolle's development. If he can develop a solid 3 or 4 pitch repertoire, you're talking about a legitimate top of the rotation type arm for the Boston Red Sox in the future. If not, you're still talking about a legitimate high leverage reliever, right? If he can only develop his sweeper, which is by far and away right now his probable best, second best pitch when it comes to swing and miss type stuff, you're still talking about a left-handed reliever who's got the extension of a guy who's basically 7 feet tall and who's throwing a fastball 96 miles an hour. That's still a really great thing to have in your system, and that's a big reason why he is a top 100 prospect in Major League Baseball, according to Baseball America. I wouldn't be surprised here Payton Tolle also moves pretty quickly through the Red Sox farm system. If he continues to dominate high A, we're probably pretty quickly going to see him in Double A, and then I wouldn't be shocked at all to see conversations about having him get to AAA by the end of the season. It's easier to promote these college pitchers because they've had so much experience against guys their own age already at this point in their careers. So it's great to see that Payton Tolle's hit the ground running after he stumbled in his first start. And again, you're talking about a dude with just elite swing and miss stuff that really isn't missing the zone all that much, right? There's some concern over the command of his pitches, but walking less than 10% of the guys you're facing when you're striking out so many dudes, I don't think is really the end of the world at all. We'll see sort of how this season develops for Payton Tolle, but if we're talking about guys to get excited about in this Red Sox farm system, he absolutely has to be towards the top of this list. And if he keeps pitching like this, we're going to see him not only pop up on more top 100 prospect lists, we're also going to see him a whole lot higher. So we've actually already gone into pretty in-depth detail on Brandon Clarke already this season when he got promoted with Franklin Arias up to high A baseball a couple of weeks ago. So I'm not going to continue to do that again and go as in-depth as we just did with Payton Tolle, but I did want to talk about the fact that he continues to just dominate. He gets promoted, he gives up a couple more runs than what he did in low A, but he still looks really damn good on the mound right now. He is currently between the two levels, throwing at a 162 ERA level with a 1.56 FIP. So that FIP right in line with what he's doing on the mound. He's not getting lucky out there as he throws these games. Like Payton Tolle, he's getting a ton of swing and miss right now. Actually, almost 50% of the batters he's striking out. He's currently at a 45.5% strikeout rate. That is, it's absolutely ridiculous, right? You think about this, and you don't see this too often, where almost 1 out of every 2 batters that comes up during an inning is going to end up walking back to the bench. That's an absurd stat line. On top of that, he's walking just 4.5% of the batters at the moment. To me, this is what I really wanted to highlight when we're talking about top 100 prospect Brandon Clarke, because what this means is that right now, Brandon Clarke is currently striking out 10 batters to every 1 walk he is given up. That is a fantastic combination, right? If you have that swing and miss stuff in combination with some commands, you're a very exciting pitching prospect. Brandon Clarke right now is doing both of those. I told you guys he could move through the system pretty quickly. I still continue to believe that. I also continue to believe he is going to end up shooting up prospect rankings as he continues to have the season that he's currently having. And we'll see, right? It's the same conversation with Tolle. How does this develop as he continues to get older? It all depends on whether or not he could figure out a way to continue to improve his off-speed stuff. And even if he can, you're talking about 2 guys who could be the future of Red Sox bullpen, right? If you could figure that out, with this current bullpen right now, I think that's a good spot for you to be in, regardless of whether or not you end up in a rotation. So overall, between these 2 guys, I'm incredibly excited. And what I think this prospect list does is it highlights 2 things for the Red Sox. The first is that when Anthony and Meyer come up and actually start making an impact at the major league level, which at this point, it feels like they're not coming up until 2026. Whatever. It's still early in the season, but when those guys do come up, this farm system's still going to be in a really good spot. There is another wave of just these high-level, legitimate impact prospects waiting to take the reins as the top prospect in the Red Sox system. And maybe it's not to the insane prospect level that we're seeing right now with Roman and Marcelo, but I do think these guys are going to be able to take over, and the Red Sox are going to continue to have one of the top farm systems in the sport, right? The Red Sox aren't going anywhere once these guys get promoted, and that's a really, really good feeling to have. It's been a little bit now since we've had legitimately like, hey, we're going to bring up 2 potential generational all-stars, but right behind them could be 2 frontline starting pitchers, another generational all-star, and a couple more guys we could go into that could be impact players, right? That is a really, really good feeling to have as a organization and as a fan base. And the second thing is that I think this is kind of unique. When was the last time the Red Sox had a single left-handed starting pitching prospect make a top 100 prospect list? What was it? Jay Groom all the way back in 2018, 2019? I don't know, right? Jay Groom may be the last guy, but even outside of that, I don't even know if he made a top 100 list. It's been a while since the Red Sox have had a pitcher, period, on your top 100 prospect list. Now having 2 left-handed starting pitchers on that prospect list, we sat here for years, and the Red Sox sat there for years, and they said, hey, we need to improve the pitching pipeline of this organization if we want to continue to sort of build this juggernaut from within. I think you're starting to see that catch up a little bit, right? I think you're starting to see these guys actually start making a transformation with their focus on what this Red Sox farm system's looking like, and it's actually paying off, which is even better, right? Because there's a difference between, hey, we're going to focus on this, and hey, we actually are starting to get results on this. And I think that's what you're seeing with these 2 guys. So either way you slice it, it's incredibly fun to talk about new prospects. It's incredibly fun to talk about new top 100 prospects, and these guys are absolutely deserving of the praise they're getting right now. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? What do you think about these 2 new faces for the Red Sox top 100? Are you excited? Are you nervous? What do you think about what these guys could be? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Just simply helps out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you guys want to listen instead of watch these episodes, all you got to do is head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.